Hi, this is WoW. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I earned 35 gold in under 60 minutes of playtime, sharing a fishing strategy a player below level 20 can use. I talk a lot about the value of fishing in my ebook, Wealth on Warcraft, but there's still lots I didn't cover. In terms of making fast World of Warcraft cash, fishing is a great thing to do when you have a few spare minutes, but not a lot of attention to give to the game. This particular strategy can be used by players under level 20, as most of the enemy mobs that roam nearby are level 16 and under. But before we get into this particular fishing for cash strategy, let's talk about some of the higher level benefits of fishing so you can see where this is all building up to. On World of Warcraft, the target markets you'll be getting the most profits from are usually these: raiders, PvP twinks, and casuals with money to burn. This particular strategy aims at both Market 1 and 3, but at its highest levels of skill, fishing supports yourself or others who are in the category of Raider. Why Raiders? Simply put, Raiders and those gearing up to raid consume a lot. Aside from spending oodles of time and money improving their gear to heroics and raiding standards, Raiders get used to keeping stacks of consumables on hand as well, restocking after every raid or heroic run. Things like buff foods, elixirs, potions, oils, and scrolls are things that a raider gets used to having on hand in order to improve their performance in raids. And, thanks to peer pressure in raiding guilds, raiders who don't use consumables are often encouraged to start using them. Fishing provides a regular stream of these consumable goods for the raider, but many raiders are too busy raiding to spend time fishing, and therefore they're perfectly comfortable paying lots of cash for you to do it for them. But if you're like most players, even if you're playing in the Outland, your fishing level isn't high enough to catch those fish the raiders are paying the big bucks for. So how can you advance your fishing from a low level and still make good cash off of it? Watch on! As was outlined in the Wealth on Warcraft ebook, fishing is a skill that can be leveled anywhere you can catch a fish. If you're not sure how it works, be sure to review the fishing sections of the ebook. Now, let's talk about the deviant fish. Deviant fish are only caught in the Barrens, which is a horde-dominated zone that orcs and trolls are first sent to at around level 12. The fish themselves can be caught from any fishable pool of water within the Barrens, including, within the instance, Whaling Caverns. If there's no competition, you should be able to find special pool of deviant fish, and in these pools, a higher concentration of deviant fish can be found. In my personal tests, I tried two different methods. First, I fished out 100 fish from the exact same spot without moving it at all. I didn't seek out any of the pools of deviant fish, and when they spawned nearby, I ignored them. At the end of 100 fish, I had 31 deviant fish, 78 other low-level fish, and one lesser mana potion, and it had taken about 30 minutes from when I left the Crossroads flight path. I put all these fish up into the auction house raw, and then went back out. The second time, I mounted up from Crossroads and traveled across a pond to fish, but only fished from a pool of deviant fish that I could find from that fishing spot. I traveled around the Barrens on my epic mount to fish out these spots until I had 31 deviant fish, and it took 19 minutes. Then, I spent under 5 silver to buy spices and cook the fish into savory deviant delight and put them up for auction. My third test was done with my level 30 druid, whose fishing level was only at 50 and who didn't yet even have a level 40 mount, and it took just under 30 minutes to repeat the second strategy. When I went to list my product in the auction house, I was pleased to see that the only other competition for Savory Deviant Delight was listing theirs in full stacks. I listed mine in stacks of 2 and 5, with per item buyouts of at least 1 gold and 25 silver. The raw deviant fish, on the other hand, had competition. I listed mine the same way as the cooked ones, for the same buyout values. Within hours, all of my cooked fish had been sold, and I had earned over 35 gold. They sold so quickly, I wondered how much more I could have sold them for. The raw deviate fish, however, took longer to sell and ultimately only netted me about 25 gold for my fishing efforts. So I cooked up the ones that were returned to me and reposted them on the auction house, and they sold right away. The other junk fish that I caught I sent on to a friend who was leveling cooking. So what is it about Savory Deviate Delight that makes them sell so well? All I can say is this: don't underestimate fun and how much people will pay for the opportunity to look different or stand out from the crowd, even online. Eating a Savory Deviate Delight will morph a player into either a pirate or a ninja, and the costume buff lasts for an hour or until the player dies or dispels it. Well, there you go. A simple strategy you can use to skill up and make good cash long before you're high enough level to buy your first mount. This is WoW Girl from wealthonwarcraft.com, signing off.